The Chonk chart. A fine boy. Hefty chonk. Oh Lord, he comin'!
The 1400 LT came out at the end of 1987. It was a laptop with two 3.5-inch floppies, a 7.16 MHz NEC V20, and CGA graphics. It clocked in at about 13.5 pounds, and also eventually had an option for a hard drive, which almost cost as much as the whole system and replaced one of the floppy drives. So I have the 1400 LT plugged in with a makeshift adapter, just 12 volt, into my benchtop power supply with the requested 15 volts. It's pulling 0.433 with the old dead battery in it, and I get some results when I turn it on. It still blinks low bat, and with the battery plugged in, I'm not getting a backlight. I was before. This battery is almost certainly donezoed. Now when I unplug it, you see 0.034 amps, and if I turn it on now, I'll get a screen of a backlight. Or at least I did, and you can see there, it's lit up. So, because the battery was shot, I managed to find a NiCad drill battery that used the same number of cells and voltage. So my task was to disassemble it and try to get it into the same package as the original battery. So I'm going to want to take this apart and get it in the same configuration as the laptop's pack, which is 2 rows of 5. And so to do this, I might end up having to snip some of these connections and then do some soldering of some bridge wires to make this work. Connect. Oh man. Alright, so I'm going to make my first attempt at firing up with the battery pack. On the battery. The low battery die is not blinking. Backlight is on. I used some plastic tape I had lying around to wrap the whole pack, and now that it works, I can go ahead and put it in here and leave it in here for now. I had a 12 volt car adapter for a Toshiba laptop from Computer Reset that I adapted for this laptop, and then used a 112 to 12 volt adapter to connect that. I also got a CF card adapter that slots into the same expansion slot that the hard drive upgrade would have used. I loaded the CF card with DOS 5 and utilities to make this particular hardware work correctly. I used the Use UMB driver that allows me access to all of the extra memory on this computer, along with a special program written to make both floppy drives read the correct size in the non-Tandy DOS. I also have drivers on here for the zip drive, which kind of works but at a very slow speed, but with the CF card I don't really need that. Using the CF card instead of either the floppies or the unobtainium hard drive option does seem to provide better battery life. Attack of the Petsky Robots by David Murray works well on here, with CGA graphics and the PC speaker sound. The color scheme seems to be quite compatible with the LCD screen on here. Here's the 8088 Flex demo, which was originally built for a original XT with a Sound Blaster card. So I have the sound turned off, of course, but it does effectively show off the sort of full motion video effect, and it runs very well on here considering this has more processing power than the XT did. The CGA is a little non-standard, so when it asks yes or no if you're using a official IBM CGA, if you choose yes, it doesn't run properly, but if you choose no, it seems to work very well. I didn't record any footage of this connected to a monitor. You have the choice of either composite or regular CGA, but you can't run the laptop screen and the external monitor at the same time, I don't think. Of course, there is a version of Deskmate that runs on this. This is the original Deskmate 1. That's very similar to the original on the Model 4, but for DOS. I have seen in the catalogs an image of it running the later graphical version, but I haven't found the correct version that would run on this. I'm not sure why I was blinking during the spreadsheet part. That normally doesn't happen, but I think it was just a temporary glitch. Microsoft Works for DOS runs very well on here, and it's very legible on screen once you go in and choose the LCD color scheme. This was a feature in a lot of programs at the time because most laptops for the first many years of laptops didn't have color, and so there were special color schemes for grayscale or LCD computers, and if you loaded them up on a color screen they looked very garish and off-putting, but that was to optimize the visibility on a black and white or grayscale screen. And of course I have to show off how well this can run Wolfenstein using the CGA modded version. This will run on almost anything, but not necessarily well. I've got the screen shrunk down as much as I can here, and it produces a surprisingly decent presentation of frame rate, considering that this is a NEC V20 and not a 286 or 386. The controls using just a keyboard are still a little wonky, and it is hard to make things out, but it does it remarkably well for what it is. I took this computer with me to VCF Southwest and walked around with it running for most of the day. I used the built-in battery along with a jump pack to go for several hours running around, having it running various things while enjoying the show. That's it for now. There's a few things to work on internally. One key switch that needs to be replaced and the internal battery, but that's for a future video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.